Section 7-3, Linear Functions. A linear function is a function that has a constant rate of change. Its graph is a straight line. In earlier lessons, you learned that the slope of a line is the ratio that compares a vertical change to the horizontal change. Remember, slope is your vertical change divided by your horizontal change. We also refer to slope as rise over run. When we rise up or down. That's your vertical change. When we run, we either go to the right or left. That's your horizontal change. You can also describe slope as a rate of change. A rate of change is a comparison between two quantities that are changing. If you draw a graph of the quantities, then your rate of change equals vertical change divided by horizontal change. Consider the set of ordered pairs. Here we have the point 2, 1, 5, 3, 8, 5, and 11, 7. We're going to graph these points. We're going to connect them. We're going to use the vertical line test to determine if this graph is a function. So, when we graph these points here, let's look what our graph looks like. First, let's graph the point 2, 1. To the right 2, up 1. Next, let's graph 5, 3. To the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 1, 2, 3. There's the point 5, 3. Let's graph the point 8, 5. To the right 8, up 5. Then let's graph the point 11, 7. To the right 11, up 7. You see, if you connect these points, you have a line. Therefore, this is what we call a linear function. I could draw any vertical line that I wanted to, and it would only touch my line at one point. Therefore, this is a linear function. All right? So now, let's determine the slope of this line. What is the slope of this line? What would we have to rise, and what would we have to run to go from this point to this point? Well, let's count our boxes. We would have to rise 1, 2, and what would we have to run? 1, 2, 3. So notice my slope. If your slope is rise over run, I had to rise 1, 2. I have to run 1, 2, 3. So my run would be 3. Notice both of these are positive. Going up is positive 2. Running to the right is positive 3. So your rise over your run is 2/3. Therefore, your slope is 2/3, or your rate of change is 2/3. So I want us to read about this graph. Using the vertical line test, you can see that the graph does represent a function. Remember from our previous section, if we draw all the vertical lines we can possibly draw, do any of the vertical lines ever touch my graph more than once? Your answer would be no. That's the vertical line test. That's the test you use to determine if a graph is a function. Since the graph is a straight line, the ordered pairs represent a linear function. The rate of change, which is your vertical change over your horizontal change, is 2/3. So you had to rise 2, you had to run 3 to go from one point to the other. Notice the rise and run is constant. Your slope is constant. Your rate of change is constant on a line.